English. We're here in the main park in Guatapé, Antioquia, and we continue with our tour. Just a moment we were in Zócalo's street. It was called the Memory Lane, and we will continue with some stories with Juliana. Juliana is going to tell us the name of the story. What is the name of the story?
Called The Broken Pot.
The broken pot. So let's listen, Juliana. Welcome. This is English storytelling.
They say that a long time ago in India, there was a very poor man who had to walk a long way until he reached the stream to take water back to his house and to his family. He had two large water jars, clay pots, and he tied them to a pole, and he put the pole on his shoulders. He would fill the water pots and carry them all the way back to his house. It was a very long journey. Each pot would carry a fairly good amount of water, and it was heavy and uphill, and it was hot, so he had to do a lot of work for this. Well, one of these days, as he was carrying his pots home, he tripped on a rock and fell, and one of the pots cracked. It didn't break completely, it was still usable, but it had a few cracks in it. And the pot noticed that when the man got back home, half of the water had spilled out. Well, this continued for some time. The man would walk all the way down to the river, fill his pots, carry them home, but when he would get home, the second pot would only have half the water, because on the way it would spill lots of that water. This happened for a long time, 2 years in fact. And finally, the cracked pot was feeling very bad, very depressed. And the cracked pot spoke to the man. It said, "You should just throw me away. I am useless. You worked so hard to go down to the river and walk back to your house, and I spilled half the water on the way. You should make a better pot." Because all this time, the good pot had been humiliating the cracked pot, saying, "I bring all the water, you spill it, you're worthless." And the cracked pot cried and said to the man, "You should throw me away, get a better pot." The man felt bad for his cracked pot and said, "Don't cry, don't be sad. I want you to notice something. Come." He took both pots down to the river, filled them up with water, and he said to the cracked pot, "Notice as we walk along the path, what do you see?" As he carried the pots, the cracked pot looked and saw that on the path there are many, many beautiful flowers. And he said, "Well, yes, master, I see that there are many flowers, and it's very pretty, but so what? I still spill half the water." The man smiled and he said, "Did you notice that the flowers only grow on your side? On the other side, there are no flowers. You spill the water, but where you spill the water, flowers grow. I knew you were with it. Well, because of that, I planted flower seeds along the path. And for 2 years, you have been watering my garden. And I go and I take the flowers and give them to my friends and my family and make them smile and make them happy. You are perfect because with your defects, you create beauty." And that's the way we all have to learn. We cannot always be perfect. We will have problems, but we can use those problems to make something good.
Awesome. Okay, that is the real talent of Juliana. Thank you, Juliana, because you came today. Hey, did you like the story, Jaime? Did you like the story?
Yes, very much.
Okay, so we are going to have more opportunities to listen to Juliana, who is always available to tell us stories. And I continue believing that storytelling is one of the best strategies here in English to improve your level of communication. Thank you, Juliana, for the support you're giving us. Let's continue. Let's go to the chief right now to finish our tour here in the city of Guatapé, Antioquia. Come on, let's go.